Henry Higgins has a question, and it is: Finn, who do you think will be the first AEW original to go to WWE?
That's a really good question. I mean, we've talked about this before. I mean, is it going to be MJF? I mean, it's going to be really interesting, isn't it, over the next year watching the AEW talent roster because there's definitely some people there, and not just AEW originals, people like Chris Jericho, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
And you think, what is there really left for them to do in AEW? And maybe it's time for them to move on.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're going to move on, there's really only one place they're going to go, and that's WWE. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Tony Khan and AEW in general react to the loss of big names and the traffic going from AEW to WWE because they've had everything their own way. I mean, all the traffic's just been going in one direction over the last couple of years. There's been no traffic going the other way, or no big name traffic anyway.
Yeah.
So, I think some people are going to go over the next year, and they really need to as well. And I think Jericho, it's probably a good time for him to go quite soon, or at least take some time off, because it feels to me, I mean, that was what he was the expert at, wasn't he, in WWE?
Yeah.
He would only stick around for 3, 6 months, maybe 9 months tops, realize that he'd had his run and that it would be advantageous for him to take some time off and come back in like another 6 months or 9 months or whatever. But yeah, I mean, MGF looks like a candidate, but you would think that Tony Khan's going to want to keep him. I mean, especially after his well-received performance at Full Gear last weekend. Most people really thought that was amazing. I mean, it was obviously it was a good match. It was MGF's best match in the company to date. There was some things about it I didn't quite like, but I mean, it was very popular in the venue, and for an AEW match, it ticked all the boxes. I mean, Jungle Boy's another one. I mean, I think he's somebody that would do well in the WWE system. One person who I would like to see leave AEW for WWE, Brian Pillman Jr. I think that's a guy who needs to go to WWE. I mean, he's lost. He's kind of wasted in AEW at the moment. He's been floundering ever since the MGF feud, which was not a great program for him. I think he was really very badly damaged by that. I think he's somebody who would do well in the WWE system. So maybe him. I mean, Darby Allin's somebody that, do you think that WWE would sign him? I think they would because he's a star in the AEW system. And there's going to come a point, and this is going to be really interesting, when these contracts of these AEW originals are coming up for renewal, and maybe WWE will make an offer that will be comparable to what Tony Khan's offering. And maybe the talent will think, well, you know what? I grew up as a WWE fan. I've been here 2, 3, 4 years or whatever. I've pretty much done everything I can. I've got to give this a try. And it's going to be interesting to see how Tony Khan responds to that. And the AEW fans as well. Will they turn on the AEW originals, Kenny? Will they say, like what the ECW fans used to say in the 1990s, you sold out?
You
What do you
never
think,
know.
Kenny?
Well, I think all the names you mentioned are pretty good shouts. The interesting thing is going to be if the AEW people are able to, they might not want to go to NXT 2.0. They might not want to do the run there. Are they
Yeah,
going to be given a free pass to Raw or SmackDown? Are they going to be able to adapt? I think whoever the first person is going to be, if you're somebody who's thinking about it, you almost want somebody to do it before you to see how
yeah,
they get on and then do
yeah,
it. But I mean, I think sooner rather than later we're going to see somebody go on the other side because it can't forever be just to one side. But I'm intrigued to
no.
see who it's going to be.